The study of the mind and how it affects behavior.
Psychology.
Psychology. To distribute or set apart for a plan or purpose.
Allocate.
Allocate. To put something in something.
Insert.
Insert. Situation where things are not equal/fair.
Inequality.
Inequality. Something that is similar, but not an exact copy.
Approximation.
Approximation. A plant or animal that has become rock after many thousands of years.
Fossil.
Fossil. Being of an early time period in the past.
Primitive.
Primitive. A person working in a profession, such as medicine.
Practitioner.
Practitioner. To arrange in a random order.
Randomize.
Randomize. In connection with government matters.
Politically.
Politically. Actions that are illegal or morally questionable, often performed by a person in a position of power.
Corruption.
Corruption. A quantity that has both size and direction.
Vector.
Vector. A frame, stand or hook on which things are set or hung.
Rack.
Rack. An unreasonable hatred for a group of people, usually a race or a religion.
Prejudice.
Prejudice. A path or way that you can walk.
Pathway.
Pathway. Going back in statistics. A type of correlational procedure that focuses on predicting the values of an outcome based on its correlation with another variable.
Regression.
Regression. To think of, or create, something new.
Conceive.
Conceive. A little wet.
Damp.
Damp. Belonging to language.
Linguistic.
Linguistic. In name or thought but not reality.
Nominal.
Nominal. Without an end.
Infinite.
Infinite. Reason for not supporting or agreeing with a plan.
Objection.
Objection. Blank book in which you write what you did each day.
Diary.
Diary. With reference to some source of heat.
Thermal.
Thermal. The end of something.
Terminal.
Terminal. Something that is plaited or twisted as a rope-like length.
Strand.
Strand. A period of time during which important, significant changes take place.
Watershed.
Watershed. A 3D shape with a circular base a part of the eye.
Cone.
Cone. Caused or controlled, or by genes.
Genetically.
Genetically. The transmission of heat, electricity or sound.
Conduction.
Conduction. Moving toward a higher point or position.
Upward.
Upward. Something that deserves laughter, is foolish or funny.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. To press a computer mouse to do something on a computer.
Click.
Click. Causing or feeling physical pain or hurt.
Painful.
Painful. Being exactly right correctness.
Accuracy.
Accuracy. The breadth, width or largeness of something.
Amplitude.
Amplitude. To increase, or become as large or great as possible.
Maximize.
Maximize. To disagree, to say the opposite is true.
Contradict.
Contradict. Stretch tight and stiff.
Tense.
Tense. Work that a student is given to do at home.
Homework.
Homework. Putting similar items into groups or sets.
Classification.
Classification. Basic or made without skill, such as a crude drawing.
Crude.
Crude. Someone who delivers a messages.
Messenger.
Messenger. In an exact and particular manner.
Technically.
Technically. A small animal with 6 legs, such as a bee or ant.
Insect.
Insect. A part of a whole.
Fraction.
Fraction. A metal holder used for keeping things together.
Clip.
Clip. To make something higher.
Elevate.
Elevate. A shape or outline, a method of arrangement.
Configuration.
Configuration. Concerning a fetus, an unborn baby.
Fetal.
Fetal. The time between birth and death.
Lifetime.
Lifetime. Strongest.
Dominant.
Dominant. Depending.
Conditional.
Conditional. Having personal qualities that people admire.
Noble.
Noble. A system of management, a form of government.
Regime.
Regime. The rate that something happens.
Incidents.
Incidents. A liquid that colors hair or cloth.
Dye.
Dye. General term for things that are bought or sold.
Goods.
Goods. Left over after part or most is taken away.
Residue.
Residue. Sour substance that reacts with metals, for example lemon.
Acid.
Acid. Needing great effort for a short period of time.
Intensive.
Intensive. Not deep, a small distance between the lowest and highest point.
Shallow.
Shallow. A problem that requires thought and skill to be solved.
Puzzled.
Puzzle. To grip something firmly with the hands.
Grasp.
Grasp. A saying that seems contrary to popular belief, but which may be true.
Paradox.
Paradox. In a quick and easy manner.
Readily.
Readily. A person from your family that lived in the past.
Ancestor.
Ancestor. To make into something at an industrial level.
Industrialize.
Industrialize. By that means because of that.
Thereby.
Thereby. Needing the use of physical strength or work, a book of information or instructions.
Manual.
Manual. The main office of a company or organization.
Headquarter.
Headquarter. A reason for doing something.
Motive.
Motive. The upper part of the leg.
Hip.
Hip. Words that a person has said or written in a play, book or movie.
Quotation.
Quotation. A dry substance made up of very small pieces.
Powder.
Powder. Big size, largeness, heaviness.
Bulk.
Bulk. To be slowly broken down by natural processes.
Decay.
Decay. Beliefs or ideas about what is right and wrong.
Morality.
Morality. To enter a place with a name of taking control of it.
Invade.
Invade. A person who studies economics.
Economist.
Economist. The study of living things.
Biology.
Biology. A kind of grain that is used to make flour for bread.
Wheat.
Wheat. Act of bringing things together into a whole.
Integration.
Integration. Having the power to cause change, having influence.
Influential.
Influential. A music writer.
Composer.
Composer. A date or time before which something must be done.
Deadline.
Deadline. With no pattern or clear purpose, by chance.
Randomly.
Randomly. A thin covering of tissue.
Membrane.
Membrane. Basically, primarily.
Essentially.
Essentially. Living or growing naturally in an area, not brought from somewhere else.
Indigenous.
Indigenous. Likely to move from its position or fall.
Unstable.
Unstable. A way of speaking that shows your dialect or class.
Accent.
Accent. The act of saying that something is not true or very different.
Contradiction.
Contradiction. Very small blood vessels.
Capillary.
Capillary. A disease affecting many people.
Epidemic.
Epidemic. Being less than 0 in number.
Minus.
Minus. To keep something or someone within a limited area so it cannot escape.
Confine.
Confine. The act of getting or becoming bigger or more over time.
Accumulation.
Accumulation. A package or box wrapped in paper, a thing bigger than a letter that is sent in the mail.
Parcel.
Parcel. Dealing with problems in a reasonable, practical manner.
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic. Not complete, being only part of something.
Partial.
Partial. To do with finding out the cause of a problem.
Diagnostic.
Diagnostic. Be a name or symbol for.
Denote.
Denote. Spirit of a dead person, appearing to the living.
Ghost.
Ghost. To remove parts of a book, film or letter for moral, religious, or political reasons.
Censor.
Censor. Something useful or valuable, usually for sale.
Commodity.
Commodity. A long essay, a position taken in an argument supported by a set of reasons.
Thesis.
Thesis. A prefix meaning not.
Non.
Non. To do with breathing.
Respiratory.
Respiratory. In a formal manner, officially.
Formally.
Formally. A scheme to help someone who has been ill or in prison to return to a healthy, independent, and useful life.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation. Knowledge gained from experience in life.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. The way something is used.
Usage.
Usage. Being sensitive in physiology. The ability of an organism or part of an organism to react to stimuli in electronics. The ability of a radio device to react to incoming signals.
Sensitivity.
Sensitivity. Referring to the five senses.
Sensory.
Sensory. The beginning.
Onset.
Onset. Difficult to do or deal with something that needs skill.
Tricky.
Tricky. The quality or state of being human and being able to die.
Mortality.
Mortality. A brief intensive course for a small group emphasizes problem solving.
Workshop.
Workshop. In an accurate or correct manner.
Correctly.
Correctly. Concerning the sun, or its heat.
Solar.
Solar. Believing in modern ideas about social change.
Progressive.
Progressive. A feeling that is experienced by the body, usually through the sense of touch.
Sensation.
Sensation. A change in position of things so they become the opposite.
Inversion.
Inversion. Of a system where one country controls another.
Colonial.
Colonial. To speak while another person writes the words down.
Dictate.
Dictate. Amount of difference in distributions.
Variance.
Variance. Concerning how good something is, rather than quantity.
Qualitative.
Qualitative. Plan or design of something, for example of book page.
Layout.
Layout. Always active or changing in physics. A force related to motion.
Dynamic.
Dynamic. The amount you can see through something.
Transparency.
Transparency. The edge of something such as the decorative edge on a piece of clothing.
Fringe.
Fringe. The ability to locate oneself in your environment with reference to time, place, and people.
Orientation.
Orientation. Full of noise, loud.
Noisy.
Noisy. Extremely, hard to believe.
Incredibly.
Incredibly. To gather or acquire so that you have more of it.
Accumulate.
Accumulate. Two or more atoms chemically combined.
Molecule.
Molecule. An element, feature, or quality of something.
Aspect.
Aspect. A measure of how steep something is.
Gradient.
Gradient. Specific instance of something happening.
Occurrence.
Occurrence. Containing information, statements, or beliefs that do not agree with one another.
Contradictory.
Contradictory. Man who rules an empire.
Emperor.
Emperor. Descending from an ancestor.
Descendant.
Descendant. To join or bring together.
Unify.
Unify. Quickly, soon.
Shortly.
Shortly. A person who holds a particular office or position.
Incumbent.
Incumbent. Refers to more than one person or thing.
Plural.
Plural. A charged atom.
Ion.
Ion. To make something stable or consistent, with no major changes.
Stabilize.
Stabilize. A prefix meaning before.
Pre.
Pre. Supplying land with water using pipes.
Irrigation.
Irrigation. A wall, screen, or piece of glass used to separate one area from another.
Partition.
Partition. Being able to paint, write music, etc. Creative.
Artistic.
Artistic. The describing or measuring of quantity.
Quantitative.
Quantitative. Someone who has control over a country or area.
Ruler.
Ruler. Making a statement about a group from limited data.
Generalization.
Generalization. To prepare a book, journal, magazine and make it available.
Publish.
Publish. Cloth.
Fabric.
Fabric. An approximate time period.
Circa.
Circa. A machine or company that prepares something and makes it ready for use.
Processor.
Processor. A pipe that removes water, or other liquids.
Drain.
Drain. A large area of plants, usually in a hot climate.
Plantation.
Plantation. A word or action during a stage play to tell an actor to speak.
Cue.
Cue. The material that settles to the bottom of a liquid.
Sediment.
Sediment. The process that produces the next generation.
Reproduction.
Reproduction. The state of a female being able to produce young.
Fertility.
Fertility. To write something spoken.
Transcribe.
Transcribe. On the side moving sideways.
Lateral.
Lateral. An idea, a suggestion.
Proposition.
Proposition. The process of knowing and remembering.
Cognitive.
Cognitive. A device that sends out radio waves for finding out the position of another object.
Radar.
Radar. The smallest unit or amount of energy.
Quantum.
Quantum. The area ruled by a king or queen.
Realm.
Realm. A formal entry into an organization, position or office.
Initiation.
Initiation. A discrimination between things as different and distinct.
Differentiation.
Differentiation. The lines of light coming from an object.
Ray.
Ray. Better, higher quality.
Superior.
Superior. A slope or surface that rises uphill.
Incline.
Incline. A long, very thin, soft material used to join or make cloth.
Thread.
Thread. Someone whose job it is to watch or notice things.
Observer.
Observer. An outline, an imagined sequence of events in a plan or project.
Scenario.
Scenario. To broadcast by using electrical signals to a radio or TV.
Transmit.
Transmit. Extra information at the bottom of a page.
Footnote.
Footnote. A poison that kills weeds.
Herbicide.
Herbicide. To think that something is probably true.
Presume.
Presume. An amount of medicine to be taken at any one time.
Dose.
Dose. A device along a pipe that can either open and allow something to flow, or close and block it.
Valve.
Valve. Very hard to believe.
Incredible.
Incredible. Image expressing numerical data in lines or shapes.
Graph.
Graph. A line that separates a point of parting, a gap.
Separation.
Separation. To make something as small as possible.
Minimize.
Minimize. The act of taking responsibility for an error or mistake.
Admission.
Admission. The ability to recognize the difference between things, treating different groups of people unfairly.
Discrimination.
Discrimination. A state of balance.
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Concerning the environment, plants, or animals.
Ecological.
Ecological. A drawing made quickly that lacks detail.
Sketch.
Sketch. A reason or fact that explains why something happens or exists.
Justification.
Justification. To take in a liquid soak up.
Absorb.
Absorb. To make something start working.
Activate.
Activate. Person who shows how something works, for example, product.
Demonstrator.
Demonstrator. A large group of people or things, a regular order or arrangement in maths. A series of figures.
Array.
Array. A way of speaking a language that is used only in a particular area or by a particular group.
Dialect.
Dialect. Mark showing a pause or list in a sentence.
Comma.
Comma. Action making something harder to do something.
Complication.
Complication. The very small creatures that sometimes cause disease in humans and animals.
Bacteria.
Bacteria. A game in which players answer questions on a specific topic.
Quiz.
Quiz. A device that receives information in physiology. A nerve ending that changes stimuli into impulses.
Receptor.
Receptor. To lose blood because of an injury.
Bleed.
Bleed. The green part of a tree or plant.
Leaf.
Leaf. Logical and well organized.
Coherent.
Coherent. Something bought for a lower price than expected.
Bargain.
Bargain. Being close or near to a border, wall, or point.
Adjacent.
Adjacent. The idea that all people have the same rights.
Equality.
Equality. To write again to improve, or correct errors.
Rewrite.
Rewrite. The distance across the center of an object.
Diameter.
Diameter. 1/1000th of a meter.
Millimeter.
Millimeter. The result of breaking a hard material, a crack.
Fracture.
Fracture. Hard round red or green fruit with a white center.
Apple.
Apple. Means of communication.
Media.
Media. An opinion that you form based on information you already have.
Inference.
Inference. A medical operation in which a new organ is placed inside a patient's body.
Transplant.
Transplant. The distance between the opposite edges of a thing.
Thickness.
Thickness. One of the very large areas of land on Earth that are usually divided into several countries.
Continent.
Continent. Forward.
Onwards.
Onwards. Definitely or certainly.
Positively.
Positively. Concerning sound.
Phonological.
Phonological. A small ball of air inside of a liquid.
Bubble.
Bubble. A person who enters a contest.
Entrant.
Entrant. The act of discovering something or solving a crime.
Detection.
Detection. A disease of the liver that causes inflammation, yellow skin and a fever.
Hepatitis.
Hepatitis. A career or regular job.
Occupation.
Occupation. To rebuild something after it has been destroyed.
Reconstruct.
Reconstruct. Being important or well known.
Prominent.
Prominent. The action of making something move in a different direction.
Deflection.
Deflection. Part of something.
Integral.
Integral. About not exact but close.
Approximate.
Approximate. Having limits lasting for a limited time.
Finite.
Finite. Object made by humans, for example ancient tool.
Artifact.
Artifact. Person or creature from a planet other than Earth.
Alien.
Alien. The flat, thin body parts of a fish that sticks out and helps guide it through water.
Fin.
Fin. A tool used to measure things.
Gauge.
Gauge. Not stable, changeable.
Instability.
Instability. Fully qualified or capable of doing.
Competent.
Competent. Extra money for achieving/exceeding target.
Bonus.
Bonus. To agree or allow to do something.
Consent.
Consent. To apply a particular idea to a large group.
Generalize.
Generalize. Concerning how the body functions.
Physiological.
Physiological. To convert into an oxide combine with oxygen, to rust.
Oxidize.
Oxidize. Concerning, or provided by, a parent.
Parental.
Parental. A detailed description of the design and materials used to make something.
Specification.
Specification. A piece of information that helps explain a situation or provide a solution to a problem.
Clue.
Clue. Metric unit for measuring liquid or gas.
Liter.
Liter. To control something or someone.
Manipulate.
Manipulate. Very bad, unpleasant, or offensive.
Nasty.
Nasty. A good quality.
Virtue.
Virtue. To cut violently.
Slash.
Slash. Control center of a cell.
Nucleus.
Nucleus. Heavy, sticky earth used to make pottery.
Clay.
Clay. A system for organizing people or things according to their importance.
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy. Without something that is necessary.
Deficiency.
Deficiency. Concerning vision or helping people see.
Optical.
Optical. Concerning sound.
Audio.
Audio. In an important way.
Importantly.
Importantly. Money given to a student to pay for education.
Scholarship.
Scholarship. Important people of high status.
Elite.
Elite. Showing intelligence quick to understand or learn.
Clever.
Clever. A lack of enthusiasm or interest in things seeming not to care.
Indifference.
Indifference. To make water or liquid fly in very small drops.
Spray.
Spray. Talk, conversation.
Discourse.
Discourse. Something that dissolves or can melt another substance.
Solvent.
Solvent. Easy to do or understand, not complicated.
Straightforward.
Straightforward. A prefix meaning across, through or changing thoroughly.
Trans.
Trans. A statement of what will happen next.
Prediction.
Prediction. Judgment, opinion, guess at the value of.
Estimation.
Estimation. Very thick and difficult to see/get through.
Dense.
Dense. A constant t raised to a power equal to a given expression. For example, x is the exponential of 3x.
Exponential.
Exponential. The power to make independent decisions.
Autonomy.
Autonomy. The chance that something might happen.
Likelihood.
Likelihood. A substance naturally formed in the ground.
Mineral.
Mineral. The holy books of a particular religion.
Scripture.
Scripture. Cell structures that carry the genetic material that is copied and passed to the next generation.
Chromosome.
Chromosome. In a careful, considered manner.
Deliberately.
Deliberately. The act of taking the place of something or someone else.
Displacement.
Displacement. People in positions of power, able to decide things.
Authority.
Authority. A person who looks after machinery.
Mechanic.
Mechanic. Living thing, often one that is small.
Organism.
Organism. A 3D spiral shape.
Helix.
Helix. A person or thing acting or serving in place of another to put in the place of another.
Substitution.
Substitution. Not official, not done by the rules.
Informal.
Informal. Process of developing over time.
Progression.
Progression. Specific words and expressions used in a particular field.
Terminology.
Terminology. Being reasonable and sound.
Legitimate.
Legitimate. To make an exact copy of a living thing.
Clone.
Clone. Expressing a difference in degree.
Comparative.
Comparative. To bring about an agreement between persons or groups, act as a helper.
Mediate.
Mediate. Having importance, showing someone's intention.
Meaningful.
Meaningful. Male sex cell.
Sperm.
Sperm. To use something practically for a particular purpose.
Utilize.
Utilize. Being similar in some way.
Comparable.
Comparable. A speech sound A, E, I, O, U and sometimes Y.
Vowel.
Vowel. Fit and strong, physically capable.
Athletic.
Athletic. One of the little tubes that return blood from the body to the heart.
Vein.
Vein. A person who studies ideas about things such as the meaning of life and truth.
Philosopher.
Philosopher. A small area, specialized business, job or activity.
Niche.
Niche. About or caused by molecules.
Molecular.
Molecular. To change something in order to make everything the same or make everything agree.
Standardize.
Standardize. About the nerves or nervous system.
Neural.
Neural. Relying on someone for support.
Dependence.
Dependence. Something that happens on its own, seemingly without cause.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Being able to think clearly.
Rationality.
Rationality. A small electronic device used for calculation.
Calculator.
Calculator. Concerning philosophy.
Philosophical.
Philosophical. International spread of something, for example company.
Globalization.
Globalization. Performed as part of a formal ceremony.
Ritual.
Ritual. The special knowledge that an expert has.
Expertise.
Expertise. A thick, flat slice of something.
Slab.
Slab. The most important part or quality of something.
Essence.
Essence. The act of putting something new in the place of something that is old, broken or missing.
Replacement.
Replacement. To make an action or process easier.
Facilitate.
Facilitate. Comparison of things based on their similarity.
Analogy.
Analogy. Poisonous, harmful.
Toxic.
Toxic. Rain, snow or hail.
Precipitation.
Precipitation. The degree to which people or things are the same.
Similarity.
Similarity. Present in a person or animal from the time of birth.
Innate.
Innate. Something done in a customary or traditional manner.
Traditionally.
Traditionally. Difference, diversity.
Differential.
Differential. Not important, not related to the topic.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Can be mixed with a liquid, for example, salt is soluble in water.
Soluble.
Soluble. Bringing about, or causing.
Induction.
Induction. A material that can easily flow. For example, water.
Fluid.
Fluid. Hot and humid near to the equator.
Tropical.
Tropical. The natural way a person or animal thinks or behaves, knowledge that is not learned.
Instinct.
Instinct. A handle that one pulls to operate a machine.
Lever.
Lever. A decision that is shared by most of the members of a group.
Consensus.
Consensus. The soft parts of the body.
Flesh.
Flesh. Great energy, strength, or concentration.
Intensity.
Intensity. Containing acid.
Acidic.
Acidic. Being useful, a public service such as gas, water, or electricity that is used by everyone.
Utility.
Utility. Beat of the heart.
Pulse.
Pulse. A large organ in the body that helps to absorb food and clean the blood.
Liver.
Liver. The teaching schedule for a course in a school or university.
Syllabus.
Syllabus. The scientific study of genes, how living things develop between generations.
Genetics.
Genetics. At an unknown time in the future.
Sometime.
Sometime. A noise or something that stops you from continuing what you were doing.
Disturbance.
Disturbance. A round container with curved sides and flat ends.
Barrel.
Barrel. A judgment by a doctor about a person's illness.
Diagnosis.
Diagnosis. A type of American music known for its energetic beat and parts that musicians make up as they go along.
Jazz.
Jazz. The same in every way.
Identical.
Identical. A gas in the air that has no smell or taste, and that all animals need to breathe.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. To make the sound of a word or letter with your voice.
Pronounce.
Pronounce. Being awake.
Consciousness.
Consciousness. A large bird that gets its food by killing smaller birds and animals.
Hawk.
Hawk. Doing a lot of work and achieving a lot.
Productive.
Productive. A prefix meaning out of, from, or not.
X.
X. Very small on the edge, not important.
Marginal.
Marginal. A pattern of sound and beats in music.
Rhythm.
Rhythm. An in-depth paper submitted for a doctorate degree.
Dissertation.
Dissertation. The chemical processes of the body in which food is converted to energy.
Metabolism.
Metabolism. Having no impact.
Null.
Null. A single-celled fungi used to make bread and beer.
Yeast.
Yeast. An exchange in business. This usually involves money.
Transaction.
Transaction. To melt into a liquid so that a substance mixes with the liquid itself.
Dissolve.
Dissolve. A substance that combines to form the structure of proteins.
Amino.
Amino. A metric unit of weight.
Gram.
Gram. An entry into a place for the purpose of taking control.
Invasion.
Invasion. Strong, very serious or severe.
Acute.
Acute. Leg, arm or wing.
Limb.
Limb. Photographs or pictures in a printed publication.
Artwork.
Artwork. Representing a larger quality.
Symbolic.
Symbolic. Going from the top to the bottom of something.
Longitudinal.
Longitudinal. In a general manner.
Broadly.
Broadly. The ability to move.
Mobility.
Mobility. Standard used to make judgments or decisions.
Criteria.
Criteria. Process of creating and developing many businesses.
Industrialization.
Industrialization. To move or turn around a central point.
Rotate.
Rotate. To make more complex or refined.
Sophisticate.
Sophisticate. Not made by people, not created by nature.
Artificial.
Artificial. To make it difficult for a process to start or continue in a normal way.
Inhibit.
Inhibit. Separate, composed of distinct parts.
Discrete.
Discrete. A small change to a machine, system, or plan.
Modification.
Modification. As some people believe.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. A large stretch of land.
Tract.
Tract. Moving violently and unevenly.
Turbulent.
Turbulent. Odd or strange.
Bizarre.
Bizarre. To place or set inside rock, etc.
Embed.
Embed. Packed together, closely united, small.
Compact.
Compact. A medical doctor.
Physician.
Physician. The sound made by clapping a performance or speech.
Applause.
Applause. The act of controlling something or someone.
Manipulation.
Manipulation. The specific area of your field.
Specialty.
Specialty. About statistics.
Statistical.
Statistical. Not in a line.
Nonlinear.
Nonlinear. A person who asks questions to obtain information.
Interviewer.
Interviewer. Complete control of the market for a service or product.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. In a basic and important way.
Fundamentally.
Fundamentally. Unusual, remarkable.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. A unit of speech.
Syllable.
Syllable. A very small part of an atom that has a positive electrical charge.
Proton.
Proton. Something needed to complete or make perfect.
Complement.
Complement. A shared boundary between two persons or systems through which information is communicated.
Interface.
Interface. Concerning the area around where you are.
Locally.
Locally. The smallest possible.
Minimal.
Minimal. The child of a person or the young of a plant or animal.
Offspring.
Offspring. Easily reacting to responsive.
Reactive.
Reactive. To trade or exchange.
Swap.
Swap. A weapon, usually thrown, shot or launched.
Missile.
Missile. Having great size, excellence, or power.
Tremendous.
Tremendous. A heavy, silver-white metal that is used in thermometers to measure temperature of planet.
Mercury.
Mercury. A machine that flies through the air.
Airplane.
Airplane. A long, strong material, thicker than string but not as thick as rope and electrical wire.
Cord.
Cord. To act in agreement with another's wishes, to obey a rule.
Comply.
Comply. At the same time as.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously. How much is spent on things? The process of eating and drinking.
Consumption.
Consumption. To repeat something, such as an experiment, study or process.
Replicate.
Replicate. A small animal with dark fur that lives under the ground. A unit for measuring molecules.
Mole.
Mole. Large wind instrument similar to a piano.
Organ.
Organ. Grammatical.
Syntactic.
Syntactic. A collection of skills or accomplishments.
Repertoire.
Repertoire. To make someone believe something that is not true.
Deceive.
Deceive. Country or settlement controlled by another country.
Colony.
Colony. Communication by letters, emails or text messages.
Correspondence.
Correspondence. Time when you have no work to do and can relax.
Leisure.
Leisure. A defense provided by the body against disease.
Antibody.
Antibody. An animal related to humans, which lives in trees.
Monkey.
Monkey. Being unchangeable or unmovable.
Static.
Static. The management of land and water in ways that stop it from being damaged.
Conservation.
Conservation. To increase greatly in number.
Multiply.
Multiply. Concerning medicine that is used to fight certain diseases.
Antibiotic.
Antibiotic. A middle point between two extremes.
Halfway.
Halfway. To look, feel, or behave like something to copy.
Simulate.
Simulate. Concerning the way people act.
Behavioral.
Behavioral. Happening or existing in many places affecting many people.
Widespread.
Widespread. Not famous, unknown by most people, not easy to understand.
Obscure.
Obscure. For no other reason only and completely.
Purely.
Purely. A response to a message, information about a person's behavior.
Feedback.
Feedback. A soft, fatty tissue inside bones.
Marrow.
Marrow. The short, thick finger on the side of your hand.
Thumb.
Thumb. Organizing people or things to make them work together effectively.
Coordination.
Coordination. To express something clearly using language.
Articulate.
Articulate. Made of lines.
Linear.
Linear. Located above your head or in the sky.
Overhead.
Overhead. To cause, to persuade.
Induce.
Induce. A soft, white chemical element.
Sodium.
Sodium. That is to say, specifically.
Namely.
Namely. The place one is traveling to.
Destination.
Destination. To act in dishonest manner to gain an advantage.
Cheat.
Cheat. A colorless chemical element without a smell that forms most of the Earth's atmosphere.
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. To keep safe.
Conserve.
Conserve. To state or declare your ideas positively, strongly.
Assert.
Assert. Includes numbers.
Numerical.
Numerical. In a way that is larger, greater or has more power than others.
Predominantly.
Predominantly. A common, soft, silvery white metal that is usually used for farming or industrial purposes.
Potassium.
Potassium. A state of flow and change.
Flux.
Flux. The process whereby nerves can retard or prevent the functioning of an organ, the act of blocking or holding back.
Inhibition.
Inhibition. Concerning factors or factorials.
Factorial.
Factorial. That cannot be understood.
Unintelligible.
Unintelligible. To an extreme degree, badly, very.
Terribly.
Terribly. An action that is answered by a reaction, verbal or physical.
Interact.
Interact. The study of a system, such as the system of words in a sentence.
Syntax.
Syntax. To mix, to reduce in strength, concentration, quality or purity.
Dilute.
Dilute. Throughout history.
Historically.
Historically. Exactly and without any mistakes, correctly.
Accurately.
Accurately. Ideas or beliefs which form theory and policy.
Ideology.
Ideology. Metal object fired from a gun.
Bullet.
Bullet. To make things separate and go in different directions.
Scatter.
Scatter. The movement of blood through the body.
Circulation.
Circulation. Sensible, reasonable.
Logical.
Logical. A condition that limits a person's ability to do something.
Disability.
Disability. To make someone do something by strong persuasion or force.
Constrain.
Constrain. A substance that is healthy for your body and can be found in foods or taken as a medicine.
Vitamin.
Vitamin. Having the properties of a magnet, being able to attract.
Magnetic.
Magnetic. A long metal weapon with a sharp point and edge.
Sword.
Sword.